I'm Intruder Green. You might know me from things like Kolima's, Richard J. Donovan Correctional Facility, and Be Real. Welcome to the Intruder Green podcast. It is the 27th of September, and yeah, I just want to say it finally happened to me. I got corona. That's right, everybody. It's I'm in the club now. I'm cool and everything. I gotta say it wasn't as bad as when I got sick. I don't know. I think I talked about that on the podcast when I got sick at the beginning of the pandemic, but it wasn't with corona. Apparently, at least the doctor says so. They're confusing shit. They didn't know what the hell it was. But that was a lot more sick than when I got corona just now because, well, I don't know why. Because I think it was possibly because I totally up to my ears in what is it called, vaccinations and shit. I got that shit 4 times. I'm serious. I know how to count. That's how many times it was. I'm pretty sure. And yeah, it felt like a real bad cold. And I know I'm not trying to downplay it, nothing, because I know some people got it way worse than that. And it's real serious still. I know that I think President Biden said something about the pandemic's over, but we're still dealing with COVID. And a lot of people are taking an issue with that because they're well, if the pandemic's over, but we're still dealing with COVID, I think that's a oxymoronic or some shit like that. Some kind of moronic. I don't know. But anyway, real happy to be back with a new podcast for you guys. This week we got this episode, I should say, because you never know when we're going to do one of these nowadays, But we got Lisa Root on the show. She is the, I don't know what to call her, actually, a chief editor. She kind of started this whole thing by herself, New Noise Magazine, and it's a real good one. If you're into, just being able to, pick up an actual physical copy of something to read once every couple months or something, that's got all your favorite bands in it and stuff, and lots of good photos and everything, and little write-ups and everything. It's good. I know there's been, for some reason I feel like there's been talk about Rolling Stone magazine and stuff lately, and I don't know, I feel like that magazine kind of sucks these days, unless they want to do a story about me, and then I think they're real cool. That's the way the world works, tit for tat and whatnot. But anyway, yeah, you should check it out, New Noise Magazine, if you get a chance. We'll talk a little bit about it on the podcast. And yeah, like I said, everybody, I'm switching it up. Well, I don't know. This is a funny thing because I was telling Lisa, hey, I want to switch up the format to the podcast and make it more about the crime stories, because you can listen to a lot of interview type podcasts. They're out there. They're fucking all over the place. In fact, it's either, I feel these days it's podcasts are all about people either talking just bullshit interviews or just talking about pop culture and trying to be funny and stuff. And they're usually not, it's usually pretty bad. But that's the way shit goes, when things become popular, everybody jumps on a bandwagon and everything gets kind of watered down, I guess. And I'm trying to keep fresh and not do that. So I figured I was talking to people about crime stories and stuff. And that, for me, I don't know about you guys, but for me, that has become kind of my favorite part of doing this podcast is, we do the shoot the shit part and then we get to the crime stories. And often that's the best part of the show because people kind of open up when they're talking about something that's not themselves, you could talk about yourself, but when people put you on a spot, it kind of gets a little intimidating sometimes. So you got to shy away from it a little bit and be oh yeah, well, I grew up and it was fine, but then yeah, I'm in a punk rock band or some shit. And it's okay, well, how did you get from A to B? And then you're I don't want to talk about it. I'm going to poop my pants now. And you're well, don't do that. I guess you couldn't do that if you want to because we're on a Zoom call and it don't matter because you're not in the same room with me, so I won't smell it. But my point is, I think it's nice to do these crime stories, and I want to focus more on that. And shit, man, I gotta say, I actually think I need to put out a what do you call that? A trigger warning on this one, because Lisa's story was not your typical Intruder Green podcast type crime story. There's actually some serious shit going on with it, involving murder and whatnot, and like some real shit. So, I don't know. It's probably not, if you know Lisa, then you probably know this story, or you're not going to get offended by it unless you know specifically what she's talking about. But you never know. So if that sort of like crazy true crime murder stuff is not your bag, then you can probably skip through that. But we do also have the whole interview where we talk about her career and everything, because I think she's a real special person and she's done some really cool stuff, especially the way she's gone about it and everything. And so, there's plenty of that in there as well. And also, we got a special treat today because we finally got another call in. Actually, I think we might have had one last episode too. But we got one right here. And to kick off this whole new branding experience, let's go to the phones.
Hi, Intruder Green. This is Heather Royston. I'm so behind listening to the podcast, but I decided to listen to today's August 30th and caught that you were changing the crime stories. So I thought I would call in to tell you about the time I started a whole bunch of people throwing water bottles at a cop at Warped Tour while watching NoFX play. But it occurred to me that I was driving, so I probably shouldn't call, but I was speeding and smoking weed while I was driving, which are also both crimes. But I chose to wait till I got home just to make sure I was safe. I love pineapple on my pizza, but you lost me at all that other stuff. So you can have your own pizza, and I'll have a pineapple pizza. And whenever you come back to Fest or somewhere I can drive to in the States, I will buy you that pizza. Good talking to you.
Oh, yeah, Heather Royston, a producer of the Intruder Green podcast. I would normally probably bleep out somebody who says their last name because I want to protect the impotent or whatever. But, she's a producer of the podcast, so she gets to be famous and stuff now. I guess she already was, because I say the producers of the podcast on every episode. But anyway, the point is, I appreciate you calling in, Heather. And, I thought you were going to actually go into the story, but you told me a different story about how you were driving and smoking weed and shit. And that's pretty cool. I know you're probably not supposed to do that, but I think it's probably not as bad as drinking and driving. But, at the same time, I don't want to condone either one. It's cool to smoke weed, but maybe, do it when you're not driving. That's a better idea. And I would love to hear the details of your story about throwing bottles of water at the cops during the NoFX show. I mean, it seems like a good idea, if it's called for, I don't know if it was just for funsies or if that cop was being a dick and you were trying to start a riot, because that's some fucking, that's some good shit right there. But stay safe. And anyway, if you want to call back, Heather, maybe we could work out an interview when we could I reserve that for anybody who's a Patreon of the show, because you're one of the people who makes it happen and whatnot. And that would be real cool. We could try to work that out and it would be awesome. But as far as the pineapple on the pizza, good job. I think it's great. I don't get into this whole bias stuff or whatever, racist pizza stuff where they're like, oh, pizza don't go on no pineapple. And I'd be like, that's true. That would be kind of weird. But whatever, you could try to figure it out. I'm up to trying everything and anything. And frankly, I've had pineapple on pizza and it tastes real good before. And and the thing is, a lot of people probably try that and they get it from a real crappy place that makes it. And then they're like, oh, I don't like this pizza at all. And I'm like, yeah, because it's shitty pizza. It's got nothing to do with the fact that there's pineapple on it. They probably use shitty pineapple and shitty dough, and it's real bad. So try a good one, and you might like it. And that's the way it is. Anyway, while we're on it, let's give a shout out to the producers of the podcast. We got Luke Ellis, Heather Royston, of course, Gem City Sabrina, Sarah Koenig, Audacity Crash Clothing, Chelsea McNally, Cardboard Box Colony, Carlos Hernandez, and Fast Eddie Knowlton. Thanks again, guys, for sticking in there. I'm excited for like what's going on pretty soon because I'm gonna meet up with some dudes that are coming through. It's crazy how many bands I've seen in the last couple of months coming here through Germany. Like I assume they're playing lots of shows in the States these days too, but Europe's been blowing up. I don't know. Because, everybody obviously took a break during the pandemic. And now apparently everybody's overbooked because, you got all those shows that got rescheduled for a couple years later, which is crazy that happened, but it did. And then you got all these new shows happening as well. So I guess everybody's like real, it's rough if you're like a person who actually makes money in the industry as opposed to like one of these bands. But the bands, I don't know. I think there's like a weird medium ground where some of these bands are really getting shit on because they're like, well, we got to tour if we want to make money, but nobody's making money because everybody's touring. So whatever. Anyway, it's been real fun seeing some of my friends coming through here and getting to hang out with them. It's a bummer we don't always have time to make a podcast out of it, but when Direct Hit comes into town and Nick Woods is like, oh, can you come pick us up from the fucking train station? We have way more luggage and band equipment than we have people. And we don't have any kind of vehicle. What are you going to do? You ain't got time to podcast. You just got to get them to the show. And that was a crazy time. And I hope we can maybe get into it with Nick Woods one of these days on the show. He's my, I think I call him a white rhino one time, which don't make no sense. He's like a white whale, like Moby Dickerson or whatever. Anyway, without further ado, on with the show.
Hello, this is a prepaid collect call from
Intruder Green,
an inmate at the Durham Correctional Institution. This call is subject to recording and monitoring. To accept charges, press 1.
Come on, girl, now it's time to go to a place where nobody goes. In another time, on the other side of space, it won't be the same. Unlock and go where party goes. Unlock and go where party goes.
There we go. Can I hear you still?
Yes, you can.
Oh, yeah, you can. I can hear you good. Yeah. All right, Lisa. So you're just feeding your squirrels. Looks like it's a beautiful day in sunny San Francisco. Berkeley. Oh, excuse me.
Yes.
Yeah. No, Berkeley is tight though. That's where it all started as far as like the big pop punk revolution of the 90s, right?
Yep. I'm down the street. I'm one block off of Telegraph Avenue.
Hell yeah. I don't know what the significance of Telegraph is, but I'm sure it's a great place. Is that near the big club? What
No,
the fuck was it
that's
called?
a little bit. Gilman Street.
Gilman Street, of course. How could I forget?
Gilman's a little further away, but Telegraph Avenue is where.
Yeah, it's a tight spot.
On the avenue.
Oh yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so you was just telling me. First of all, we should talk about like you going back. You said you were going back to school because of all the COVID stuff. Maybe you just felt like you had too much time on your hands or something.
I did.
Yeah.
I'm not going back to school. I'm
Oh,
actually
that's right. You're going to school for the first time.
Yeah, I never went to school in the first place. I moved west, and life was too fun for school at the time. So,
Oh yeah, that'll
with the
happen.
pandemic. Yeah, but the pandemic, it wasn't fun. So I was like,
That's
well, it's
right.
time. So
Yeah. That's a good thing. Some people go to school, some people are having kids, some people are just letting their band do nothing for a while, which is also nice. But yeah. Are you like, is this something you're trying to do to further your I don't know, what would you call your career at this point? Like publishing, like music journalism or something?
I guess, I'm going for communications because it matches that
what you're already doing, right?
But, yeah, because if I tried math, I'd be done in a second. But
yeah, nobody needs that.
No. But yeah, I mean, it's just really, I'm enjoying it. It's something I wouldn't have enjoyed at the time, but now I look forward to it.
Yeah,
it's something.
yeah.
But I'm like, first day of school, I'm just like, oh my god.
yeah.
Logging on, and I'm doing all like online classes, so I don't have.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're not having like one of those things that I've heard that people who did go to college have, where they're like they're having a dream and they're like, oh shit, I'm not ready for this test. Also, I'm in my underwear and I'm in this classroom, and then they wake up and they're like, wait a minute, no, I'm 40 years old. I'm no longer in school. Anyway, I heard that people have those dreams.
I do have those dreams though. I know those dreams. Yeah, I'll have those dreams and I'm back in high school.
That's even worse.
It's the first day of school and I don't know where I'm going, and I don't have I've had those dreams for many years. I've always had the unprepared dreams.
Yeah. It's weird because I feel like it's kind of good to be unprepared sometimes and just go for shit. Like, I would have never started touring in punk rock bands if I always waited to be prepared. But it's also terrifying. So, yeah, it's a bad dream.
Yeah, I'm a very prepared procrastinator.
Oh, yeah. That's a good thing to be, sounds like.
Yeah. I wait till the last minute and then prepare neurotically.
Excellent. So I want to, before we get to the crime stories, which hopefully this is going to be the first episode where I kind of change. I don't want to call it changing formats, but like kind of changing formats where I go from like just straight up, a casual interview show where I talk to people I'm interested in to know about, or catching up with friends, to actually concentrating more on the crime aspect of cool shit. So, but anyway, we got to get into like your history, because most people these days know you from New Noise magazine. It's like you basically are New Noise, right?
Yeah. We have a small crew over here.
All right, but you're like the head honcho, right?
Yes. Yeah, I started it.
Yeah, that's right. You've been doing it for a while now too. I feel like when we first met you was when you were like just starting it. Is that right?
Yeah, I think you guys were the second cover.
That's right. It was
second or third cover.
That's true. I remember now because our buddy Mark Gartner over here in Germany took that picture where we were lined up like the usual suspects dudes. Yeah, it was good.
That was such a fun cover to do.
Except I think the scaling was weird, the way he did the graph, because it's like a lineup. I mean, people could probably go online and find that picture or buy a fucking magazine, for Christ's sake. Why not? But I think the scaling was a little messed up, because I'm not like the tallest dude ever, but that made me even like shorter. And I was like,
how tall did
okay,
it say
Mark, thanks a lot. I don't know, probably like 4 feet tall or something. Nothing wrong with being short. I mean, short people are supposed to live longer, but it feels a little awkward.
That's good to know.
That's what I heard. I don't know if it's true at all, but the internet is full of knowledge. So you could.
I think it would make sense because, like, your cardiovascular system, your blood wouldn't have as far to pump.
That's what I think that's what the theory is. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I'm not
good
even
stuff.
a science major, but
Well,
just a
yeah,
step
you
down.
might as well be. You know that much. It's good stuff. But yeah, so you started this magazine, and so
Yep.
is it?
It'll be 10 years in February.
Holy crap and moly! 10 years. That sounds about right
Yeah.
because Master Intruder is a little older than 10 years. I think we probably missed our 10-year anniversary. Probably, I think that was in 2021 actually, when we were back in the deep in the COVID days. So that's our excuse.
Yeah, I feel like everyone gets like a redo if their anniversary was during the.
Yeah, absolutely. But what were you doing before New Noise? Because weren't you working for some other magazine or something?
Yeah, I did another magazine for 10 years called Amp Magazine.
Oh yeah, Amp.
And then we had like some offshoot from it, Hails and Horns and Loud Fast Rules.
Okay. And what exactly happened with the industry? I feel like there was some problems when the internet became a thing with trying to sell magazines. Did that have an effect on like what was going on with you in that whole industry?
Yeah, the everything. I mean, like around 2008 or so, the economy took a massive dive. That was like just well, that was when there was like the housing crisis. The recession, there was a whole bunch of shit going on in like 2008. Everything kind of like went south with that, and then social media came on the scene, and everything, and print media across the board just really became more difficult to keep alive. But it, and then just internally there was just a lot going on with AMP, and it wasn't being managed financially very well.
Oh shit. Bad time for that.
Not by me, but it ran its course. And then, and so that it stuck around until 2012, and then I started New Noise in 2013.
Nice. Yeah. So you just this is just kind of like your thing. Like, how did this get started anyway? Did you always want to do this? Like, even when you were younger, you just like making zines and stuff, and then you're just like, yeah, I'm gonna just do this forever.
No, I fell into it. I was asked to do it and to sell ads and stuff, and then slowly learned how to do everything else, and then had an aptitude for it and kept continuing to do it. I love like history and preservation and music and punk culture and music culture and things like that. So it fit. I love organization. I love bringing everything together and making being like neurotic, I guess.
Yeah. Well, that's like I mean from all the movies I've seen about like journalists and stuff, that seems like that kind of world where you got to be like ready to go at any second and just live kind of a crazy like hanging on by the seat of your pants lifestyle, but also very organized because you got to fucking you don't want typos, and you got to make the pictures look real good and everything, so you're making like a real good product, but at the same time you got to be a crazy person kind of.
Yes. Yeah. And like with what we do, we overextend ourselves every single issue. Like we don't try to just, there's I just really want to be of service to the music community and cover as much as we can, because there are so many artists that need it right now. So our magazine is really dense. We cover more artists in every single issue than, any other one. It's not like giant sweeping layouts with, like 8-page layouts for one band. It's like we maximize the amount of bands on every single page and everything like that, and try to cover. And so there's always a typo at least in every issue. There's always we always fuck something up in every issue, and I'm always like, but
Yeah.
because there's so much in it, and we just really, try to like not be, like, I don't know. I just really, we really just want to make sure that we're doing for the scene, I guess.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
End of the day.
Yeah, right.
There
Well,
aren't that many magazines out there anymore. I mean, it's post-pandemic, they're springing up again, which I think is really great.
huh.
I think that the appreciation of tangible art again is one
Yeah.
of the unexpected silver linings of this.
And maybe people
appreciate things.
decided they were sick of like staring at computers and phones, after the pandemic has been going on so long. Because I'm pretty sure that's all people were doing for a little bit there,
Mhm.
a couple of years.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's nicer to look at a piece of, printed paper.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It's nicer.
It is. It really is. It is. And collecting things. I think people like, when they couldn't go out and stuff like that, they started collecting things again and everything. So
Yeah. And
so
New Noise is totally collectible too. Like I feel that like is it a monthly thing? I gotta admit, I haven't been able to keep up because I'm over here in Europe and you ain't got the distro here yet, as far as I'm aware of.
we actually have distro in Europe right now. We worked on over the pandemic, we worked on retail distribution. We have a distributor in the UK that is getting to Europe, Japan, Australia, New Zealand. Someone was just over in, I think, Barcelona, and just there was a copy.
Right.
Found a copy, like, hey, I got a copy of New Noise. So it's on newsstands there. It's in all the Barnes and Nobles here in the States. It's in the Chapters Indigo in Canada. Whole bunch of newsstands and independent bookstores and stuff. But but your question was, is it monthly? It's supposed to be bi-monthly, but
Okay, yeah, that's right. That's what I remember. Yeah.
yeah, but we have
I knew it was something weird.
we have just gotten butt fucked by every single aspect of the supply chain.
Oh yeah, that's a
COVID,
thing.
manufacturing shortages. Like, I mean, it is such a thing. It's such a thing. And because we have the flexis are made in Prague.
Oh, that's right. That's a great thing as well.
A little bit longer. Yeah. I mean, our printer at one point was down over 700 employees. They've had to retrain new people.
Damn.
Like old school people that have worked at the printers are like retiring and aging out.
Oh yeah.
There's paper. There was like a paper strike in Finland. There's ink shortages. There's like with the vinyl delays, a lot of people just switched over to doing flexi, so that was making it take longer.
Holy
longer
shit!
Turnaround.
I would not. That's like the last thing I would have expected. Is people just switching to flexis like on a regular release.
Well, I don't think it was as a regular. I think just more people were like, okay, well, we're not going to get vinyl for a fucking year now.
Oh yeah, so let's put something out.
Yeah, so they're opting to do that more, and so and so like we have a labor intensive magazine, so yeah. So there's been a lot, like and like I was telling you before, like I got COVID at the end of June and was laid out for 10 days. So yeah, so we were trying to stick to every 2 months, but it's gotten closer to every 3 months to getting an issue out. And and I'm just trying to be patient with myself, trying to be patient with everybody and the situation, and just put things out in the time it takes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
for normal again.
Yeah, for sure. Everybody, I think, gets a little bit of I don't know, what do you call it? You slide around a little bit, and you got some space to do that right now. Like everybody deserves that at least, like some I don't know, wiggle room maybe is the right term to use.
Yeah.
Like fucking the world is crazy. Yeah. But as long as you got the ship is still afloat and you're not sinking, then I think you're doing all right.
It is.
Yeah.
For now.
Good.
For now, yeah. I mean, we cover costs at best, and
Oh yeah.
because we're covering a lot of bands in every issue,
sure.
and then we also have the socials, we also have the website that has to be updated every day, and so there's a lot of work that goes into it. And
Yeah. And what's like? What is the obviously like? I think the fact that you're doing a print magazine is great, and I'm glad that industry is popping up again, because like websites are great and everything, but it's nice to have something tangible. It's just like with music, it's like I appreciate people streaming the songs and everything, but it's really nice when they fucking buy a record. I mean, I know people are still buying CDs these days too, but that's weird to me because I mean, not that I ever actually paid for a CD, but I wouldn't have even like stolen one for like 10 years, But yeah, records are where it's at. And I feel like, print magazines just kind of go along with that. It's that whole like, I don't know, like, back when records and magazines were popping, like in the 80s or something, it was like, yeah, you get your fucking Rolling Stone and your fucking Rolling Stones record or something like that. I guess. I don't know. But they go hand in hand, I think, as far as like physical media.
The Flexies were put into magazines through the 80s and then they went obsolete. And I think
really?
did
I didn't know you didn't know about that.
Yeah, it was also like something for like computer people, I guess. There was like some kind of like, it was like a technical thing too, but they went obsolete, and Skippy over at Pirate Press remade the first Flexi machines to manufacture those again after them being obsolete for so long.
Wow. That's cool.
So yeah.
Pirates Press holding it down.
Yeah.
Oh shit. So meeting is going to end in 10 minutes. I thought this was only if you had, they keep changing the deal here with Zoom. It used to be that if you had multiple participants, that you only had 45 minutes, but now I guess it's anytime you have a meeting without the pro. But if it ends, or when it ends, we can just reconnect through the same link. Okay. Yeah. And we just start over. I'll ask you all the same questions, and we can just have the same conversation.
I'll answer the exact same way.
But we'll try to do it faster. Sound good?
Okay. Yeah, I'll talk like this really fast.
Yeah. Just like that. Yeah. But actually, I don't know. I did want to ask, like, you say you got to update the website every day. Is there like a good, like social, I don't know, what do you call it? Where you like go specifically to New Noise website for like, to find out X, Y, and Z is going on?
Well, I mean, through the socials, or you could go to the website every day. We have the Instagram, Twitter, the Facebook.
Yeah. Are you guys, I mean, I know in the past, as far as websites and punk rock goes, there was always punk news, but like, is that kind of like you guys are just coming out with like new news every day, or is it more of like a social thing?
Yeah, absolutely. We don't have like a chat board per se, like Punk does, but you could comment on stuff, and
I'm sure that gets real fun.
Yeah, and like everything else wasn't just all fucked up this year. At the beginning, in January of this year, we posted a record review, and the album cover had like a Xerox cover, and it had like a grainy photo of a chest, and you couldn't even tell gender on it, but there was some nipples on it, and the Facebook algorithm flagged it 13 times.
Wow.
As boobs, and took our page down completely.
Wow.
It said it was like 13 different violations. And then I had to sit and argue like for 2 weeks about it, and go through like, people are like finding me people that work at Facebook and all this different stuff. And then nothing was working. Sometimes you have to do like, go to like Facebook court kind of, and do, for it, all this different stuff. And then finally, a friend of a friend was a contractor, didn't even work for Facebook. And he's like, well, there's this thing called an oops report that you can do whenever they do something technologically wrong. And I don't know if that'll work. And he said, but I'll try it. And he tried it, and it worked. They got our Facebook page back up. And they sent him an apology and acknowledged that they were wrong. And then they sent me, your page is back up. That was it.
Yeah,
no apology, no acknowledgement, nothing. Yeah. But they left all of those violations up.
Okay.
So they're just sitting there on our page. So they're still like throttling our page. So anytime we post something, it's being throttled, and it's hard for people to see it until they fall off, which is just fucked up. And I've been, like every week I try to like go and figure out how I can fix it and stuff like that. But there's
it's Plus it's like, well, I would advise people just go to the fucking website then anyway, because like, why not? That's gonna be a better resource.
Whenever it went down, I was almost relieved. I was like, fine, I hate Facebook.
Yeah, it's true. Like, I post stuff on there because you got to stay in touch with the world, but it's still kind of like, I wish there was a better way. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I gotta look for the actual magazine here in Germany because I'm in the area that I'm in. It's pretty hip. It's not Berlin, but it's still cool, and it's got to be around here. I'm guessing. I just I don't go out much.
I would be curious.
Hiding out in the tiki shack here.
What's that?
Oh, I'm hiding out in the tiki shack here, so I don't go out much. I got my rum, and that's all I need. So I'm like hunkering down, but I might have to venture out when I go see one of these shows and like try to find some magazines.
Yeah, let me know, because I know they're in a bunch of places, but I have like the full list. It's on our website. You can go and see like a store locator on our site for all the domestic places that it is, but it's hard to get the list of where all it's going internationally.
Yeah. All right.
I'd be curious. I'd be curious to find out and see some spots that it's at over there.
Hell yeah. Hi, Intruder Maniacs. Are you in a band? The answer is, of course you are. Everybody's in a fucking band these days. Anyway, if you're in a band, congratulations. I'm making the worst financial decision of your life, aside from taking out college loans or something. Yeah. Now, there is a way to lessen the burden of such a financial decision. It's called merchandising. And Stupid Rad Merch Company is all ready to meet your merchandising needs. You want some t-shirts? Got a tight deadline you need them printed on? And because you booked a tour less than a month out and you didn't get canceled like everybody else's tours did? How about a bunch of weird random trinkets like keychains, medallions, and what about koozies? Like everybody likes koozies. Koozies are great because they keep your drink cold and your hand warm, or vice versa, depending on what you're drinking. Stupid Rad Merch Company can get all these made for you. Stupid Rad Merch Company is an in-house artist who can help you with your designs of stuff. They're still a small enough company that they pay special attention to you and your special needs. Because, everybody's got special needs. Like, you probably mostly. And they even got a web store. That's where the real magic is. You go on tour and you sell your stuff, but chances are you're going to have some left over, or some fans are going to feel like left out because they didn't have enough money to buy something at your show. So they go on to stupidradmerch.com and find stuff from your band on there. They'll take care of all your production and shipping fulfillment needs. So go ahead, go on to Stupid Rad Merch Company's web store right now and check out all the tight bands that are already on there. They got a bunch of them, like got at the Bomb Pops and like the Bad Cop and stuff. It's all good. All sorts of cool swag. And right now, if you go on there and at checkout, you use the code PRISON, you can get 15% off all of the Stupid Rad Merch branded apparel at stupidradmerch.com. Go check it out. stupidradmerch.com. Guitar players, I bet you thought you were shit out of luck when it comes to finding your dream guitar or amp. You go on some auction site or something and it's all crap. Yeah. Well, that's because you know, you got to look in the right place. And the right place is Yeah Man's Vintage and Used Guitars. They got exactly what you're looking for. Now, I know what you're thinking. Aren't they located in like Switzerland or something? Yeah, man, they are. Bern, Switzerland to be exact. But you know, you can get on the internet and you can go check out their website, yeahmansguitars.com, and you can order stuff on there. So, you know, it don't really matter where the heck you are in the world. You can just get on their website and find all sorts of cool stuff that you're looking for. And you might not even know that you wanted it until you see it on there. And there's a lot of good stuff. If you got something specific you're looking for and need some help finding it, just hit up Yeah Man Guitars on the electronic mail. That's the email. It's like 21st century and you got email and websites. It's like amazing. Some people will call it magic. Some people will call it science. I just call it, I don't know, crazy shit. yeahmansguitars@gmail.com. As far as email goes, it's where you email them. And while you're at it, get your band a tour in Europe and stop by the shop. Michael and the rest of the crew would love to meet you, I'm sure. And you could tell them Green sent you. Yeah Man's Vintage and Used Guitars. Oh, wait. Wait. You got to start that over again, please, now that we're recording.
Oh, I said I was driving down the street and Milo was riding his bike down the street.
Nice. Just
And I
riding
had to
his
do
bike.
a double take, and then I remembered that the Descendants were playing.
Oh, shit.
So, yeah.
Are they not from? Oh, no, they're from Colorado.
Colorado,
Mostly.
yeah.
That's
Yeah,
right.
I was like, wait, what?
You can't. It's like, I seen that guy. It can't be him. But it is. It's definitely him. Yeah, I know that feeling. It's weird.
I did a triple take for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember the first night we met. I think it was the first time we kind of met Fat Michael when we first were on Fat Records. It was actually at Gilman Street. We got to play there, and Milo was there too. So I don't know.
I remember that.
Yeah. And it was funny because we were meeting Fat Mike for the first time. Milo was at the show, and Fat Mike goes to Blue, and he's like, "Oh," he says something like, "Oh, Milo's in the audience. That must make you nervous." like, yeah, that of many things right now. Yeah. Not to mention also Fat Mike, our new boss. You know, it was just a really good. Yeah, he got him good. That fucker.
I was at that show.
Yeah, that was a good one.
So you should have been real nervous.
Yeah, well, we were too. We're like, shit, they're gonna write stories about us. Well, that was probably when we first met you and stayed at you and fucking slept on your floor or whatever. Was it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And met the blind dog.
That was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's my right. God.
Back in the day. Not even that long ago, really, if you think about it. Like 10 years or something. Whatever.
Yeah.
I guess that's a long time ago. I don't know. Yeah, that's right.
As far as I can tell.
Yeah.
Your eyes and lips haven't changed.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think my eyes are a little thicker underneath right now because tired. But you know, it's the way things are these days. People are living their lives the best they can, and sometimes things get a little wonky. But anyway, speaking of life getting wonky, we got to talk about some crime stories. What did you come to a verdict on what you want to talk about? Because I know you had a lot of ideas.
I know you were, it was left field, but where I'm from is just so rife with crime.
Oh yeah, which is where?
It's crazy because where I live right now, I live 1 block away from where Patty Hearst was kidnapped.
Oh shit!
So there's that. Her condo is 1 block away from where I live.
Dang.
Yeah. So there's.
Yeah, I mean, California has a lot of fucked up shit that happened in the probably, I guess I would say the last 50, 60 years where all sorts of crazy Hollywood, well, not Hollywood because you're not in Hollywood, but I don't know. It seems like it's all connected, like just famous people and famous murders and
Yeah.
all sorts of
The
stuff like
Black
that.
Dahlia is
Oh
buried up
yeah,
at
that's right.
Piedmont Cemetery. I mean, she was, murdered down south, but she's buried up in the Piedmont Cemetery, which is a little brisk drive from my house.
Yeah. I will say, usually for crime stories, we don't talk about murders, but as long as it's not
Oh
too
my
personal, I
God.
think we can
All I
get
know
into
are
it.
murders
Oh,
then. I
really?
got murder stories. Okay, what are the
All right.
crimes?
No, 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 no. If you want to talk about murder, we can talk about murder. I I personally only do victimless crimes, but murder is still a crime technically. So we could talk about some murders.
Yeah.
I don't think you want to incriminate yourself though. If you were like thinking about that, I am
Yeah, I
looking.
haven't murdered anyone yet.
Okay, I was gonna say I am always like kind of hopeful that somebody's gonna incriminate themselves on my podcast, and then like it'll have to be used in court and be like super in the spotlight and stuff. Because then I'll get real famous and make a lot of money. But
Seriously.
yeah, I don't necessarily want none of my friends to go to prison for murder. Yeah. So
Yeah.
so you didn't come to a conclusion on which famous crime you want
Well,
to talk about.
a famous
It
crime.
doesn't have to be famous. It could be whatever you want, Like I mean, I don't know. You said you're a history buff or you care a lot about history at least. So
I
like
do. I love history.
what were you talking about the place that you're from?
Okay, so where
I don't
I'm
even know where
from,
you're from.
I'm from
You're
a
from
very
Berkeley as far as I know.
I am from Berkeley now. Yeah. Now I am like a
Yeah.
tofu loving, yoga doing, mellow ass Berkeley person as far as anyone is concerned.
Yeah.
Um,
Not like
uh,
from back when you used to do murders in your old town.
no, but back when I did murders,
Yeah.
no, my, but originally I am from central Pennsylvania,
Oh, all right. So you
the
weren't joking
Alabama
about
of the North.
that deliverance stuff.
No,
Yeah.
I am not joking. Like I am the furthest from joking, and um, I think whenever I tell people things about where I'm from, they think I'm exaggerating or making it up, and I'm anything but. I'm probably like downplaying it.
Yeah.
I think if people saw it in real life, they'd be like, "Holy fuck," you know?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's a wild place. So I'm from a. I mean, originally, I mean, I was born and raised in central Pennsylvania, and originally I was born in a little trailer park called Willowbrook, and it was very sweet and very cute. It was a great place to grow up.
Yeah.
Um, I had a great childhood. I loved it there. And then my parents got separated or got divorced, and my mom met my stepdad when I was 10, and we moved to the Crossing where he's from. And the Crossing is pretty much like the Compton of rednecks.
All right.
And and like
It's just called the crossing. It's like,
Lynn's Crossing.
oh, Lynn's Crossing. All right.
Lynn's Crossing.
And that's like
So
the town.
it's a little town. So there's Route 22 and Route 220 that goes across, kind of crisscrosses there. And then there's like another little road that goes down, and then it's like a horseshoe is the crossing. And it
Hmm.
crosses like an old railroad track that's not being used anymore, and the Little Juniata River. So it's like down by the river on the wrong side of the tracks.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Perfect.
and it's really cool because it's like this old canal route, and where like donkeys used to carry the boats that would go up over the mountains to take people west. So it's got this really great history. But at a certain point, the river started. It used all these like little cottages were down there that were summer cottages for people
Yeah.
and hunting cabins and stuff. But the river, they started doing building things upriver, and it started making the river flood, so it would flood these places, and so it, you know, there's just a lot of colorful people that live down there. There's a lot of Confederate flags, and
Oh, yeah.
we're in the north, you know.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. I've seen even
Yeah,
more northernly places than that with that shit going on. But yeah, I know what you
yeah,
mean.
like it's a place you don't go unless you live
Yeah.
there,
So by colorful people, you mean white people.
yeah, very white people, yeah.
Very
Yeah,
white
like
people.
pink people. Like we're
Yeah.
like pink a lot of times, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't want to like disparage or anything like that because whenever I was growing up, it was actually very really like fun. I enjoyed it, and like I have a close friend of mine that moved also, and he does stage management now. But like he used to put on punk shows at this pavilion
Oh,
when I
cool.
first moved down there in like 86, 87, or 87, I think 87, 88 was whenever I moved down there.
Yeah.
And he would put on like they like put skate ramps out and put on punk shows. And so
Wow.
that was like my first introduction into punk was
I mean,
because
that's pretty good for like that time. Like, obviously, punk was happening then, but like for like a small town place, I feel like a lot of that
yeah,
kind of thing in like small towns and stuff didn't really happen until the 90s or like late 90s even. So that's pretty
yeah,
cool.
yeah. And he was part black, so he had a really hard time growing up down there. And I think it was really cool that he was able to like establish like this fun little scene and really like roll with it and just build a little community,
Yeah,
of outsiders that would come in, to this place and kind of bolster them too, I think,
for sure.
And well, like when I first moved down there, my stepdad was like, whatever you do, don't go down to that. And
Yeah.
I'm like,
So that's the
whoa,
first
ran
place you
down.
go, of course.
So yeah, and he's like one of my oldest friends to this day.
Oh,
We're still in
nice.
communication, and
Yeah. That's
so.
awesome.
But anyway, so far as crime, um, there was a lot of crime down there. And- but the one thing that had happened that is kind of crazy down there, and my mom had been telling me about this guy that was down there. There's like the crossing, and then it kind of goes over, and we have the house that my stepdad grew up in is like a little ways down from there, the homestead where he grew up, and like he grew up, he didn't even have indoor plumbing.
Oh,
Like they
yeah.
got indoor plumbing in like 63 or something. Him and my uncle would like flush the toilet and just watch the toilet flush because it was just such a novelty. And and so we still like the old outhouse was still there. And
Oh,
my
yeah.
uncle, my stepdad was one of 10 kids. So the house that they all grew up in is, down from the house that he built that I grew up in, that my parents still live in. And my uncle moved into that, and we'd have family reunions down there. um it was just like the gathering place and everything like
Yeah.
that. Um so we have that place, and then my mom's best friend Kelly lives next door to that, and then on the other side of that there's this guy that moved in with his wife, and then on the other side of that house was this other guy Brian that moved in, and he was like schizophrenic and very, very intense. And he started on like a campaign against everybody in the neighborhood. And like he was convinced that Kelly and her husband they're like the local farmers. They make this corn that is like world famous. Like everyone loves their freaking corn, goes nuts
All
for it.
right.
He said that they were burying dead babies in their backyard. He
Oh,
flooded their
God.
field in the backyard. He like ran hoses and flooded their field. He dug a big hole in our yard, and put a letter, like a ransom letter on a shovel in it, like saying like he wanted like $1 million and like a backhoe and a truck and all this different stuff.
Boy,
Or he was gonna,
or he was gonna keep digging holes.
yeah,
Oh,
I guess,
all right.
threatening people.
Yeah.
He was just threatening people, like really doing a lot of weird stuff. Like he tried to like run over Kelly with his like riding mower one day. He was like just doing a lot of weird stuff where my mom was, everyone's packing down there too.
For sure.
Yeah. This where
but
I grew up, like, everyone has like
I gotta clear something up. When you say he tried to run somebody over with his riding mower, what kind of riding mower is that? Is it like the little like it goes like 10 miles per hour, maybe kind of riding mower?
I don't know. I think Kelly doesn't take shit from people. I think she was probably like arguing with him and he just like came at her with it or something. Oh,
all right. I was just wondering like if this was actually like a threatening thing or if it was just like, I'm going to run you over. And he's like 10 feet away and she's just like, okay, I'm going to casually walk to the side while you act like a weirdo.
Yeah. Skirt it. Yeah. Yeah. Brian did all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah. That's crazy people do.
Yeah. Yeah. Just always. And then he kind of got in cahoots with the other guy next door. And I think his name was Jeff. I forget. Who seemed like pretty fucking methy.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and that guy shared the driveway with our homestead. And at that point, like, my uncle Bud had passed away, but the other sisters and brothers, my aunts and uncles, all used the house as like their like summer house,
All right.
They'd come up. They all live in different areas around, communities and stuff. But it was like our family homestead, and it still is. And so they'd come out, come down and gather and everything because that's where they all grew up. But the Jeff guy like would have like weird like get-togethers with like weird methy people and stuff like that, and just made it really uncomfortable whenever our family would be up and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
So it just started things just started getting very tense with everyone in the neighborhood, and everyone was getting really weirded out.
All right.
So, anyway, this has been a long time since I thought about this, but my mom was like, something bad's really, really going to happen. And I know that like there was something that had precipitated it, but my stepdad was up doing like some work or whatever, like at our house or at the homestead, which is 2 doors up from Brian's house. And Brian was doing something crazy. My stepdad was drinking all day.
All right.
And he was doing something. So my stepdad, my mom's like, he thinks he's John Wayne whenever he's drinking. And so he gets into his pickup truck, pulls his pickup truck out of our driveway, goes down to the next driveway and pulls his pickup truck into there. And he yells, "Hey, you leave the good people of Frankstown alone." And then pulls his truck back and goes back. Well, they called the cops on him, and the cops came and gave my dad a DUI and told him he couldn't do that. Yeah, they told him we couldn't have vigilante justice. And so it was pretty rough. And that made things even worse. But anyway, so rolls around 2012. This was like right after Sandy Hook.
Okay.
And it was right before what was supposed to be the Mayan apocalypse, 2012, 21, 12.
Oh, yeah. I remember something like that.
Yeah.
I think they even made a movie about it or something.
Probably. Yeah. And so this Brian guy had been talking, the schizophrenic had been talking the tweaky other guy next door to our family homestead. And so that Jeff guy woke up that morning of the Mayan apocalypse and decided that was the day. And coincidentally, there's a church across the street from all of these houses that are in a row. Yeah. And there was a pastor that had been pastor there since 1954, and he had passed away. And so there was a big funeral for him. This is right before Christmas as well. And so my whole extended family had been up. My uncles and aunts and everybody had been up, but it called for bad weather. And so they all went home that night, or else they would have all been up, 6 or 7 of them. who, shared a driveway with Jeff. And then Kelly and Bob, who are next door to them on the other side, they were up at my parents' house, like half a mile up, and they had drank. So they left their car up at my parents' house, and their car wasn't in the driveway.
All right.
And so it looked like they weren't home. But Jeff came out of his house with a gun and decided he called someone or something, said today was the day. He went over to the church. He came over and he looked, and he didn't see anyone at ours or Kelly's house. That was his initial targets. He went across the street to the church. There was a woman in there decorating and getting ready for there was a party for little kids that was going to be happening. And he shot her and killed her.
Damn.
Then he came out and he saw, like, Kelly heard the gunshot, my mom's best friend, and she poked her head out of the window, and he aimed at her and she ducked. She called my mom before she called the cops, and then she called the cops. So he went across the street to the other house on the other side, and there was a couple they had been high school sweethearts, and he shot the husband, and the son-in-law was there. He ran to his house to get his gun and came back, and then he shot the son-in-law. He went and tried to shoot the wife. I went to school with the son-in-law's daughter too, but he tried to shoot the wife, but they had a garage that had one of those pits where, if your car you're working on a car. She ran in there and rolled under, and he shot up the garage. And then he got on a motorcycle or something. So he shot and killed 3 people, but it would have been a lot more people if there weren't these random coincidences. If it didn't call for bad weather, my whole family would have been in the house directly across, sharing the driveway with them.
Wow. Yeah.
And if Kelly and Bob hadn't had a little too much to drink the night before, their car would have been in the driveway, and he would have gone over there immediately, but it kind of confused him, I think.
Sure.
So he went down the street or something, and by then the cops had come. And so he did a suicide by cop.
Oh, yeah.
Got a big shootout with it's on camera. And so it would have been a lot worse, but it was it was the first considered mass shooting, even though it was 3 people. But it was right after that, it was right before Christmas, and it was pretty fucking crazy to have happen in our it's a small little area, it's a small little town.
Yeah.
With people like that. So, but it had been something that had been brewing for a long time, and there was every little instance, my mom had been calling me and saying, "This isn't going to end well, Lisa. This isn't going to end well.
Well,
really crazy, and things are getting really bad."
That's the fucked up. Oh, yeah. Okay. So that is the really fucked up thing, is how many people could have seen this kind of thing coming. Maybe they couldn't point the finger on exactly what was going to happen, but still nobody could do anything about it. Right. Because the cops don't do anything until somebody's actually committed a crime, and you're not allowed to just say hey, this guy's not cool. Somebody fucking do something, who's going to do something? Nobody, apparently. Mm-hmm. He's even allowed to have a fucking gun, and he's a crazy person.
And it was a straw purchase. His girlfriend bought the gun.
Oh, yeah.
And
that's real good.
There was nothing that could be done about that, so it was all a pretty crazy situation. And whenever my stepdad got in trouble for yelling at him in the driveway, it was a Spartacus thing where everyone came up, they're I was driving the truck, it wasn't him, all the neighbors came out, were trying to talk to the cops, no, it wasn't him,
yeah,
trying to save him, but and the cops were we can't have vigilante justice down here, but if we did, probably wouldn't have had that situation,
Yeah, that's true. I mean, fuck. But
what was crazy about it, whenever this guy came out and started doing the shooting, he did it all, and that Brian guy was in his house watching, he was doing it for him. That was the kind of crazy aspect of it. He was doing it all in a way that Brian could watch him do it. He had mind controlled this fucking guy into doing it. So it was just, my mom was the play-by-play on this as it was happening. And it was just such a crazy.
Because you weren't there, right? Like this was, you said it's
No.
2012, so you were already
No, I was way out here in
becoming
California.
a Berkeley
Not dealing
hippie.
with that kind of crazy.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
good. That's
Yeah.
good. But Jeepers creepers, that's a hell of a thing for your family to go through. I mean, even luckily none of them were
Yeah.
injured, but or killed,
Yeah.
but still, to
Yeah,
have
my
that
mom's
happen in
best
your
friend has
fucking
a lot of
backyard.
has a lot of PTSD from it to this day. She
Oh
saw
yeah.
what she shouldn't have seen. Like she ran over, bless her heart. She ran over. She was a retired nurse, and she ran over and tried to save that woman that got shot and
Yeah.
put herself in danger. And so it's just
Well,
guns are
shit.
crazy, gun culture is crazy, and
Yeah.
America's crazy.
Yeah, I like to say one of the reasons I like hanging out in Germany is because it's really easy to get away with crimes here because they're real strict about the laws they
Bonking.
have. What's that?
It's just bonking. They're not shooting.
Well, exactly. I mean, I don't know. They might have tasers and stuff. The cops do have guns, but the cops have guns. The other people don't. Or if they do have guns, like illegal guns here, it's like because they're mobbed up and they're just using them for other like mob guys, which
Right.
that's a whole nother level of crime that I could never get to because I guess I'm just not quite smart enough. But one of these days. But yeah, this I think yeah, that's a good story for the first rebranding of the Intruder Green podcast for crime stories because that's a real brutal one.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
But yeah, you come from places and they're always it's always fucked up shit going on, and yeah, that's nuts, and it's a true American story, unfortunately, I guess.
It really is. It really is. It was just it speaks to like mental health crisis, um, the lack of law enforcement to actually do the things that need to be done to stop these kind of things in the run up to these things happening. The availability of the wrong people getting their hands on guns so easily.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the real
And rednecks.
rough one. Yeah. Oh, he ain't crazy. He's just a redneck.
But that's how it used to be. I really feel like it was like charming rednecks whenever I was growing up. But the 90s were so different. The 90s were like a high water mark, I think.
Well,
and
maybe, but I still feel like there was a lot of like, black people getting murdered in the South and white people getting away with it. So,
oh
I
yeah,
don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it's never been good, but
yeah. Maybe it was a little better in the 90s though, somehow. I mean, there was other stuff going on that I think made us happier in the 90s. So yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
You're gonna make me depressed on a Saturday.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, you're making me depressed. You're the one with the story. Don't be depressed. Yeah.
We need to have like crime, and then you have to have like crime, and then something like to offset this balance.
Well, crimes can also be fun. You don't have to murder people, like you could do victimless crimes like stealing shit. Yeah.
I love stealing candles. I love stealing candles from Whole Foods.
How do you steal candles from Whole Foods? I don't know if that might be self-incriminating if you go on now, because I don't know who works at Whole Foods.
You know what? I haven't been out. I haven't really been like shopping. I haven't done it in a while, but that was like my favorite thing to do. And Safeway.
Oh, Safeway is tight. Oh, you guys got Safeway. Safeway is a great place to go when you're on tour because they got those like shops where they got the little I don't know, hot sandwiches that are super cheap. Yeah, it's good stuff. But stealing candles sounds like a good time to me.
Right. They're just so like, well, the thing about Whole Foods is the price of the candles is so obnoxious.
Yeah.
That it just begs you to. Like
I get that.
The candle's like this fucking big and it's $40. Fuck you.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So there's a feel good crime story.
Yeah. Steal some candles. And it's Whole Foods. They ain't hurt for money.
No, it's owned by Amazon. So you're doing like a
Oh shit. I forgot about that. Yeah, definitely steal from Whole
service.
Foods. But don't tell them Green sent you.
Yeah, don't tell them. Yeah.
Yeah. You didn't hear it here, but steal from Whole Foods. Oh. All right. Well, yeah, don't get depressed on a Saturday. You're living in beautiful Berkeley. You got the fuck out of that crazy place that you're from. And I think that's a true punk rock story if there ever was one. Cause that's what I think a lot of what the punk rock community worldwide is for is kind of being born into something you weren't super fond of, and not that you don't like care about like where you came from. I think a lot of us kind of look back and still could be like, oh, it wasn't so bad. There was all sorts of cool shit that we did and like blah 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 blah. But ultimately, you had to get the fuck out, and you did that, and you started a really fucking cool magazine that everybody should go check out. And yeah, I appreciate that. I think it's like you talk about trying to be a service to the scene, as it were, I guess is the best way to sum it all up. And I think you do a great job at that because, there's lots of stuff out there, but I don't know. There's good quality with New Noise. What you guys do, just with all of the layout and everything, the way every magazine looks. It's a beautiful thing, and I'm glad you're still doing it, and I hope you guys keep doing it forever.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Green.
Oh, for sure. But yeah, we're good here. I think we covered all the bases, and I appreciate you bringing in the new branding of the show. Even though I gave you like very little notice to like get ready to tell that.
Yeah, I didn't.
Fucking bombshell of a story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, well, enjoy Germany.
Oh, I will. I've been doing
I
it.
hope you guys are tour over here soon. It would be really great to see y'all again.
I hope we tour somewhere soon. We kind of up in the air about when the fuck we're gonna start doing anything again. But everybody's enjoying kind of laying low and like, doing crimes and stuff these days. I guess I don't know how else do we make livings other than doing crimes. So I guess that's what everybody's up to. But we'll probably play music again soon.
Good.
Yeah. And we'll see you in Berkeley.
Yeah, you better get out here soon.
Yeah. All right. And that's it for the Intruder Green podcast. You can hit me up on all the socials at Intruder Green or go to intrudergreen.com for all sorts of cool stuff. The Intruder Green call-in line is +1 608 535 9608. Patreon.com/Intruder Green if you want to become a producer of the podcast. The Intruder Green podcast is produced by Colin Bennett, management by Anka Kramer, hair and makeup by Genevieve Smith, set design Dylan Raymer, catering Matthew Hendershot, lighting Squeak Lights, Rahway, New Jersey. Our theme song is Particles by Type Bros. Give him a high colonic and send him on a 10-mile hike.